fight isn't with
Hey,
you.
when I want your opinion, I'll take Wolverine's out of your mouth.
That's kid. Guiltily, that is my daughter.
What Ryan Reynolds forced his daughter to do on Deadpool is one of the most abhorrent things I have ever heard of.
There is actually no difference between Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool and Ryan Reynolds. That's the reason why the character is successful. It's actually him. And what better way to become successful than really just playing yourself?
Ryan Reynolds has built a reputation as Hollywood's funny guy, but is there something much darker lurking beneath the surface? Fans are starting to connect the dots, and what they're finding is disturbing, especially when it comes to his relationship with his daughter, Inns. Yeah, it turns out when it comes to being a world-class narcissist, Ryan doesn't even spare his kids. Fans were dead sure of it after watching a Deadpool scene between Ryan and Inns. And to make things worse, Justin Baldoni is adding fuel to the fire by exposing how the actor works behind the scenes. Honestly, fans are starting to see the pattern now. So just what happened? Does Ryan really have a creepy relationship with his daughter?
This is what really bugs me about this is narcissistic. He wanted him to feel alone and like he had no one on his side.
So it looks like Ryan Reynolds is a narcissist to everyone in his life, including his own kids. How do fans know that? Well, his daughter Inns had a small role as Kidpool in the 2024 movie Deadpool and Wolverine. Ryan has been posting about what? It was like working with her behind the scenes. Fans expected some cute father-daughter moments. What they found instead was downright horrifying. Internet detectives started raising red flags after Ryan made a Facebook post with a behind-the-scenes photo of him and Inns. The caption read, "Only co-star I argued with. Most people think Kidpool is the dirtiest, but she's also pretty good at backtalk and never taking out the trash." Yeah, he called his own daughter dirty and tried to pass it off as a joke. The tone of the post rubbed fans the wrong way. Instead of celebrating his daughter, he chose to drag her. And honestly, that didn't surprise some fans, because Ryan has a track record of throwing the women in his life under the bus. Just look at how he talks about Blake Lively. Back in August 2019, he shared a photo of a painting Blake had commissioned for him, a deeply personal piece showing his childhood home, with Easter eggs like his idol John Candy on the front page of a newspaper. He wrote, "This piece of art is the greatest present my wife has ever given me." Sweet, right? But then he ended it with, "If there's ever a fire, I'm grabbing this first. I'll come back for Blake." Seriously? And it gets worse. During a 2019 interview on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, Ryan joked about how Blake was stealing his thunder just because she was pregnant. Fallon asked why Ryan had been so secretive about the pregnancy the last time they met. And instead of...
Last time we talked in this program,
Yeah.
it was, we were talking about Detective Pikachu. Yeah. And I said to you, I go, "Oh my gosh." I go, "Ryan, what's up, man? What's going on?" And you said to me, "Not much."
Not much, no.
No,
Yeah.
not much. It was great. We had a
Wasn't a
fun
ton
talk.
going on, yeah.
It was really fun. And then after that, you went right to the premiere.
Yep.
And I got a Google alert saying that Blake is pregnant.
Oh.
And here's what Ryan had to say in response. "Nobody was more surprised than me, Jimmy. I thought the fact that I was wearing a denim vest would be all the rage. But then Blake shows up uninvited, might I add, and I thought she was just pounding beer. But it turns out she's like 6 months pregnant. I've got to start being more hands-on at home." Seriously? Instead of showing love or even basic support for his pregnant wife, he turned it into a joke about her crashing his moment and drinking while pregnant. Fans were not impressed. This wasn't just some offhand comment, it was a pattern. Ryan's so busy performing for laughs, he forgets there are actual people behind the punchlines, even when those people are his own wife and daughter.
The denim vest, it wasn't.
No, I thought that was going to be the lead story, but that was going to be the big Google alert.
It's almost like he was bitter about the whole situation. Honestly, it's kind of sick. That said, it seems like the only woman Ryan actually respects in his life is his mom. She even joined him for a skit where Ryan took shots at Brandon, Sklenar, Blake's love interest from It Ends With Us. And to be fair, that whole bit was a train wreck too. But fans noticed something interesting. Ryan's mom didn't seem to mind his attitude at all. In fact, she looked like she was on it, which just adds more fuel to the fire, because if the only woman who gets a pass from Ryan is his mom, then what does that say about how he treats everyone else?
It's not every day the husband gets to interview his wife's love interest in a film. It's kind of crazy.
I don't remember seeing this on the schedule.
Dive in, shall we?
Well, it's not every day the mother-in-law of the leading lady gets to interview the love interest, and the man trying to replace my sweet little gummy bear, Ryan. Let's dive in, shall we?
Should we not dive in?
I was expecting not to like him.
Oh, yeah.
But he is so nice.
The nicest guy.
So funny, charming.
When it comes to the men in his life, Ryan is full of compliments. Just look at his bond with Hugh Jackman. He's always calling him a legend, praising his talent, work ethic, and basically putting him on a pedestal. Their bromance is practically a brand at this point. And sure, fans love their playful back and forth. But when you compare how Ryan talks about Hugh to how he talks about Blake, or even his own daughter, yeah, the double standard couldn't be clearer. He showers the men with admiration and respect. But when it comes to the women, it's all sarcastic comments, backhanded jokes, and little jabs.
And downplaying the hell out of that. Basically, everyone was done for the day. Like, this guy came over and I said, I think I could have made that better. I learned more in my short stint working with this man on that movie than anything else in my entire.
Mistreating Blake was one thing, but now it seems like his behavior toward his daughter isn't any better. In a commentary track for Deadpool and Wolverine, Ryan joined director Sean Levy to share some behind-the-scenes stories. And then came this moment, a clip involving his daughter. What should have been a proud dad moment turned into something unsettling. Instead of celebrating her performance or talking about how special it was to share the screen with his daughter, Ryan fell back into the same tired pattern sarcasm, control, and subtle jabs. Fans picked up on it instantly. The way he talks about her, and even to her, felt more like an ego trip than a genuine father-daughter bond.
When I want your opinion, I'll take Wolverine's out of your mouth.
That's kid. Guiltily, that is my daughter.
The fact that Ryan had his daughter say something that vulgar, it's downright despicable. Whatever happened to protecting children, especially your own, from content like that? It's like Ryan doesn't care about boundaries or age-appropriate roles. As long as his needs are being met, the laughs, the headlines, the spotlight, that's all that seems to matter. And if you thought that was bad, just wait until you see this next clip.
Author of the year over here for allowing her to say such language, which, to her credit, she really didn't want to say. And then came back later and said, I want to say it now, when I started looking.
Yeah, it's no surprise that at just 7 years old, Inns didn't want to say something so vulgar. And honestly, are we even sure she understood what she was saying? This was the moment for Ryan to step up as a dad. He should have been understanding. He should have offered support. He should have changed the line. But do you know what he did instead? He floated the idea of hiring someone else for the role. That's right. Rather than protecting his daughter, Ryan was ready to replace her, all because she didn't want to say something wildly inappropriate for her age.
So they're saying that she didn't really want to say it. And then Ryan said that, you know, if you don't want to say this in this film, daddy's gonna find someone else who will.
Imagine how crushed little Inns must have felt hearing that. All she wanted was to spend time with her dad on set, to be part of something special. But instead, there he was making her jump through hoops, threatening to replace her just because she wasn't comfortable. For a 7-year-old, that's not just disappointing, that's devastating. And honestly, some fans are calling it exactly what it is: peak narcissist behavior. Because when everything revolves around you, your child's comfort, boundaries, and even emotional well-being become secondary.
See, when a narcissist, when they're trying to manipulate you, and you can see the starting young here in this situation.
Having his daughter say something so vulgar on screen was one thing, but making her repeat it 70 to 500 times, that's straight up ridiculous. And honestly, a low for Ryan, Blake, and anyone else who allowed this to happen. One person wrote, "Whoa, I am speechless. 70 to 500 times. That's some form of child abuse. Nope, this is beyond disgusting. I feel sick." And you know what? Justin Baldoni, a man who knows how to honor and protect kids, would never let his child be put through something. Like that movie or not, he gets it. He understands boundaries. And I'm pretty sure he or his wife would never allow their child to say anything like that on screen. Another person wrote, "Gosh, this is why I never got into Deadpool. It's so degrading and disgusting." This is literally the icing on the cake for them, and it's disturbing. I remember trying to watch the first one and immediately turned it off. It was awful and not funny to me at all. Honestly, fans should have seen the red flags a lot earlier. Just listen to what Ryan said about Inz's role at the 2024 New York premiere of the film. "I hope that, if I'm lucky, this moment will be the most traumatic thing that happens in your wondrous life." This man had no shame in how he treated his daughter. It's clear now, he's a narcissist to everyone around him. Even Scarlett Johansson, his ex-wife, pointed this out years ago. During a May 2016 interview with Cosmopolitan, she said, "The logistics of being with another actor are challenging. There has to be real understanding of how you sharing your time is especially tough when two people's careers are moving at the same pace, or even when one person is more successful than the other. It creates tension." And that was clearly a doom problem in Ryan's marriage with Scarlett Johansson. Insider reports from their divorce painted a similar picture. Ryan was described as an overbearing control freak. One source said, when he wanted her there, he expected her to drop everything and come to him. She got tired of the double standards, and honestly, it doesn't sound like a stretch. Because here's the thing.
To our discredit, we made Nezzy do I'm Not You 70 to 500 versions of that line.
I'm gonna pay for that later.
Blake Lively there as Lady Pool, Lady
Matthew
Deadpool.
McConaughey as Cowboy.
But honestly, no one expected Ryan to carry that same behavior into his relationship with his kids. That said, maybe fans can't control what goes on inside Ryan's home, but at least Disney should have stepped in. But get this, they didn't even think about removing the scene with Inz. Instead, the only Deadpool joke they cut out was this one. Deadpool. "There's 4 weight. Is it Magneto? Dear sweet God in heaven, let it be Magneto. Because with him, Billy, he's dead. Deadpool, we can't even afford one more X-Man. Disney's so cheap, I can barely breathe with all this Mickey Mouse bleep in my throat." Yeah, that's the joke they decided to cut. Honestly, it's pretty disappointing to see where Disney's priorities lie. They'll cut a joke for censorship, but leave in a deeply uncomfortable moment with a child. Still, what really takes the cake is Ryan's audacity. He recently filed a motion to dismiss Justin Baldoni's $400 million defamation lawsuit against him. And trust me, he stirred the pot.
And the fact that his father was always screaming. And we now know that Ryan's also a screamer, so he basically just became his dad. So that whole little scene about like his father and unresolved issues, it's looking like you might have just become who you allege your father was.
Justin accused Reynolds of privately calling him a predator and allegedly working behind the scenes to get his talent agency, WME, to drop him in his defamation lawsuit. However, Ryan's lawyers, Michael Gotottle and Ezra Hudson, had a different take. They told the Post that Ryan couldn't have defamed Justin because he genuinely believes Justin is a predator. Here's the kicker. They went on to say the entirety of Justin's case is based on that private conversation where Ryan allegedly called him a predator. But here's the problem. That's not defamation, unless they can prove Ryan didn't actually believe it was true. And according to the motion, it's the opposite. The complaint suggests that Ryan genuinely believes Justin is a predator. They also pointed out that Ryan's wife has privately and repeatedly accused Justin of mistreatment and retaliation. And to top it off, Justin himself has openly discussed his past, including allegations of mistreating women and pushing the boundaries of consent. But they didn't stop there. Gotottle and Hudson added,
"Breaking news, Ryan Reynolds files to dismiss from Justin Baldoni lawsuit." All right, what does this mean? Let's break it down. Has he won his case against Justin Baldoni? No. Have Blake or Ryan been dismissed from the lawsuit? No. This is all very standard, right? The New York Times has filed a motion to dismiss. Leslie Sloan, Blake's publicist, has filed a motion to dismiss.
Of course, Justin didn't take any of it lying down. He had his lawyer, Brian Friedman, blast Ryan's underhanded tactics. Friedman said, Mr. Reynolds' exploitation of his enormous power in Hollywood continues this time arrogantly asking to be dismissed from the case despite his publicly documented involvement, extending far beyond just being a supportive spouse. Mr. Reynolds was a key player in the scheme defaming Justin around Hollywood, strong-arming WME into dropping Justin as a client and trying to destroy Justin's career however possible. Friedman didn't stop there. He continued, His fingerprints have been all over this smear campaign against Justin and the Wayfarer team since day one. And it doesn't end with Justin. Friedman added Mr. Reynolds now attempts to reduce plainly cognizable claims to hurt feelings, sending a clear message that it is acceptable. After lighting a match, Mr. Reynolds now seeks to run from the flames. It won't work. The Wayfarer party's claims against him are real, and they are serious. Friedman's words hit hard. Ryan may try to make light of the situation with sketch comedy, but it's clear we will not stop until he is held accountable for his actions. And Brian's right, Ryan can't escape this easily. But here's the kicker. WME, the talent agency, has only gone on record saying they fired Justin because of...
Interesting thing is Ryan Reynolds is trying to distance him. He's trying to get dismissed from this lawsuit, but I mean, he's basically like, Judge, let me out. Leave my wife in it, but let me out, which is, I don't know, it's just kind of...
And get this, some fans believe that Ryan is the root of this entire issue. They think everything spiraled out of control because of his actions, from the personal smear campaign to manipulating people behind the scenes. For many, it's hard to ignore the patterns of behavior that follow him wherever he goes. And the more they learn, the more they start to see a growing trail of manipulation and control that seems to touch almost every corner of his life.
Ari Emanuel basically said that Justin Baldoni was fired from WME and that he did this in support of Blake and Ryan Reynolds. Ari Emanuel said he is ride or die for Blake and Ryan. He also makes fun of Justin Baldoni's name by calling him Justin Baloney.
So, yeah, Ryan really needs to think about how fans are going to react when they start to uncover everything. Maybe the public will even learn more about how he treats his kids. And the more they find out, the more questions will be raised. But what do you think? Is Ryan really a narcissist when it comes to his kids? And is there even more that fans are missing?